Secretly recorded from deep inside the bowels of a decommissioned missile silo, we bring you the man, one single man who wants to bring light to the darkness and dark to the lightness. Although he's not always right, he is always certain. So now, with security protocols in place, the protesters have been forced back behind the barricades and the blast doors are now sealed. Without further delay, let me introduce you to the host of Hutcast, Mr. Tim Hutner.
Thank you, Sergeant at Arms. You can now take your post.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are solely those of the individual and participants. These views and opinions expressed do not represent those of the host or the show. The opinions in this broadcast are not to replace your legal, medical, or spiritual professionals. Happy 5/5/24 today with Hutcast is GraithCare. GraithCare is a patient advocate company that is out there to fight for you, because Lord knows we need more of us who can. So stand by, Hutcast. We'll be right back.
Need a quick, healthy boost to start your day? Try Superfuel. Superfuel by Casmo is loaded with vitamins and healthy ingredients that will give you a quick, healthy boost. Make Superfuel a great-tasting, low-calorie addition to your daily regimen. Order Superfuel at www.superfuel.me or call 833-FUEL-X12, FUEL-X12, or 833-383-5912, Superfuel.
Welcome back to Hutcast. Today, GraithCare. Priscilla Romans is on the phone with us. Priscilla, are you there?
I am here, and I am excited to share what is going on with patient advocacy. People are just loving the medical freedom movement. They are getting in control of their healthcare, so it's really exciting to see what this parallel healthcare system is doing.
Right. Well, again, it's been kind of crazy out there. So let's jump into, tell us what's new out in the world with you.
Well, every single day we're getting phone calls for help from people that are just struggling and drowning in the sick care system. People are really wanting to think about how can they get healthier without pharmaceutical medications. Maybe how can they avoid a traditional surgery? How can they get their cholesterol under control? How they can actually take care of their vaccine injury. These are some of the things that we get calls on every single day. And what happens is when those people reach out to us, we want to match them to the best fit advocate for their needs. So it's kind of like Match.com. You're looking for a great date. You put your profile out there, and you're like, this is what I'm looking for. You call us and let us know what you're looking for, and we match you with one of our advocates that has amazing experience for your needs, because we're not only just helping adults. We have pediatrics, neonatal babies. We have seniors in assisted livings and nursing homes that are struggling. Their families are frustrated. And we are helping walk through and navigate those waters as their team for patient advocacy. So it's huge. It's absolutely massive what we're doing.
Now, last time we talked, I think you had, 6 or 8 advocates. Where are you at now?
We're at 20-plus advocates.
Whoa.
They are all across the states. They are hand-picked, meaning they have to have specific experience within their niche in order to take on client needs. For example, we have Chris that has a naturopathic background. She believes that drugs are not the answer. So like a client she recently got, they came in and said, look, I'm on statin medications, I'm on blood pressure medications. I don't want to be on these drugs because I feel like some of these drugs are actually giving me really bad side effects. And so because that's what the person is calling us needing, we match them to Chris. Chris can help them with understanding their options and how to help work and collaborate with their doctor. See, this is a team approach. We believe that people just oftentimes don't know what to say and do with their doctor. And so by giving them the education and the understanding how to proceed and options that they've never even been told, it opens up the door to possibilities. We've got Darren on our team, and anybody can go to our GraithCare website. That's GraithCare.com. All of our advocates are on the website. Darren is on board, and he has a traditional oncology background, years and years of experience. And what's really cool is we've got clients that are coming to us with new cancer diagnoses. We just had a young 40-year-old get diagnosed with breast cancer. Her dad has gotten care from us, and his dad reached back out to us and said, hey, my daughter just got diagnosed with breast cancer, and I am really, really scared that the oncologist is going to push chemo on her. And I really don't want chemo because I feel like it's so toxic, but my doctor only listens to the doctors.
Right.
And I don't know what to do to help her. So we matched her with Darren, and Darren is helping her. What are her goals? And what are the things that she needs to know in order to be informed? So when we talk about oncology, what your listeners have to understand is when you walk into an oncology office, you're worth probably about an easy $500,000 walking through the doors. Okay, that's a lot. A bag of chemo, probably basics in terms of the dollars about each bag that is hung. At least probably minimum 40 to 50,000, okay, or more, depending on the type of chemo.
Wow.
All right, that is a lot of dollars. So it's scary for people to go, well, my doctor would never just do this for money. Well, look, I don't want to break your heart. I want you to be prepared to understanding how you can navigate and how you don't get trapped by just thinking there's one set of options for you. See, me with my background in nursing, I know that there's more options. I worked in leadership throughout the healthcare system. I know the system. I know the bonuses that are paid out. And it's okay that these hospitals are making money. However, I prefer that they don't make money because of the bag of chemo. I want them to make money because they're actually bringing quality of care back, meaning people are actually thriving in their health and wellness. But that's not the model of healthcare that we live in. So don't be fooled by it. Just understand how to navigate it. And so when Darren went through these options with this young 40-year-old and said, hey, we know that your dad is super afraid of chemo and that he just wants you to not do any of it. First of all, tell us, what do you want, right? Where is she at in her journey? What has she heard from her doctor? And all she heard from her doctor was she had heard what had happened, and this happens every single week, okay? A woman is going into their doctor's office. They do their the breast exam on maybe their yearly visit. The doctor feels something, and it's like, hey, we need to get a mammogram. They send the lady to go get a mammogram, which is where they press the boobs, and they're trying to see if there's anything, in the boobs. Now, with that, just for your listeners, I'm giving a lot of actual things that your listeners can do something with right now. They need to go look up, is a mammogram for them to do? Because what I will tell you is from our amazing network of providers that we work with, we believe that mammograms don't actually have to be done for you to know if there is something going on within the breast. A mammogram squeezes the breast, which can change the cells. Cancer is changing of the cells. So let's not squeeze the breast, maybe, to squeeze the cells that are potentially cancerous cells, right? We don't want to aggravate those upset cells. What we want to do is identify them proactively and go, okay, there's a change. Can we get a ultrasound or a tomography done, which is less invasive, that's going to give identification of something going on? Well, traditionally, this young 40-year-old, the doctor felt that area on her breast, did what the doctor knows to do. This is how typical medical doctors are trained. A primary care doctor, a PCP, okay, that is taught by the traditional system, the old model, the Rockefeller system. This is a lot of information for people, but I want you to understand they're going to go, well, let's go get you signed up for a mammogram. Let's get that going. It's going to be covered by your insurance.
Sure.
Okay, the 40-year-old says, okay, thank you, doctor. Thank you for finding that. Okay, the doctor did not give her other options. The doctor never talks about tomography, never talks about non-invasive ultrasounds, doesn't talk about anything. Okay, doesn't even talk about that area in the breast could actually be a parasite. Whoa, people are going, wait, what? Wait, parasite in the breast? Yes, that can be present. That could be what's detected. Okay, now doctors in the white coats are not going to typically talk about that, but here at GraithCare we do. We want to inform people. Now, this sweet young 40-year-old, she did agree to the mammogram because she didn't know any other options, and she needed to know she could tell her doctor no.
Oh, right.
So you can say, no, let me just pray about this. Let me just look at all my options first. Why are we rushing and fearing people? Why? There should be no rushing. But oftentimes in the medical system, people are rushed to making uninformed decisions because they are on the path of the insurance protocol. Okay? So what happens is insurance paid for the mammogram. Next thing they said was, oh, yep, we confirm. We did find a spot that the doctor felt. Now you need to go get a biopsy. Oh, look, we found a spot open for you to actually go get a biopsy done tomorrow. This is literally what happened, okay? So she's like, oh, I have a spot. I might have breast cancer. I'm so nervous. I need to go get a biopsy. A biopsy. This is an invasive procedure. Freeze it, people. Do you need, I'm questioning because I'm your patient advocate.
Sure.
We are your team of advocates. Why do we need to go get a biopsy? Is there any risk to a biopsy? Could there be needle tracking? Needle tracking. Look it up. People can go look up these things. Go search it. Google search. DuckDuckGo. You might be a little censored by some of those things, but needle tracking can happen. If they go in and place a needle as a biopsy, an invasive procedure, they're getting paid to do this because it's insurance-directed care. They go in and put the needle, let's say it is cancerous, and they go to pull the needle out. There can be needle tracking, and if it is cancerous, it could open a whole new bag of opportunities for the cancer to get into the lymphatic system.
Sure, and out of the spot and into the rest of the body.
That's right. So think about this. If it was capsized, meaning controlled within the breast, and it was cancer, we could have just done something for that area without opening up the other potential issues. And I say potential because we don't know if it's really going to create needle tracking, right, or open up to the lymphatic system, but neither does your doctor. Any doctor cannot guarantee to me that there is no risk. They can't. They would be lying to you if they said that. Oh, no, there's no big deal. We do this all the time. Well,
Right.
Tell me, doctor, exactly why did you not do a PET scan first? Why? A PET scan is a non-invasive procedure, and the doctor will likely say this to you. Well, that's not what we do first. We do the mammogram, and then we go do the biopsy. We don't do PET scans first. Well, but why, doctor? Well, that's just not what we do. Well, can it be done? Well, I guess it could be done, but that's not what we do. Okay, remember, they are taught a certain way. Just because they're taught a certain way does not mean it's possible. we know that people can go get these things done. Now, people will go, well, is my insurance company going to pay for it? They might not. If you go outside of the insurance protocol model, your doctor might go, no, I'm not writing that order. No, that's not the way we do it. See, in my mind, as a patient advocate and as a woman in her 40s, I would want to know all of my options up front, okay? And if I know all of my options up front before going to do a mammogram, before going to do a biopsy that's invasive, well, I would want to know, what are the risks? What are the benefits? And is there any other way for me to do this safely? I will tell you, there is. It's uncomfortable for some people to question their doctor, but we have to start asking these questions and properly advocating and collaborating with these doctors, okay? Now, it's scary for people. They might be scared because the doctor says, well, you might have breast cancer. Well, you might not either. Not everything within that breast that's detected is actually cancerous. It could be benign, okay? So people have to understand this, and they understand. I am not opposed to the traditional system. I think the traditional system, we should give everybody all of their options. But we have to start questioning things different in this parallel healthcare system in order to properly make an informed decision, and not a decision based off an insurance agenda, the money agenda. It's just like going to a car lot. What are they going to sell you when you go to the car lot? They're going to sell you a car. That's the same thing that they're going to do in an oncology office. I'm not saying all oncologists are bad. I'm saying you have to understand it's a business model, and we just respect that business model. We appreciate it. I know that some people that have gotten chemo and radiation to their areas of cancer that was detected, that it worked. But I'm also going to tell you that the reoccurrence of cancer does come back, right? The cancer's gone. A couple years later, what pops up again? Cancer again. Why? Because the body was not properly addressed as the root cause of why the cancer started to begin with. What are the deficiencies within that person's body that we need to handle and take care of so we can decrease the risk of reoccurrence of cancer and to properly support and defend the body's immune system? See, chemo and radiation, if this 40-year-old wants to go do, she can go do, because that's her decision. But she also should be, in my opinion, my very strong opinion, is the doctor, like what she said, the advocate said, well, if you do decide chemo, what is the snack? This is a simple question. What is the snack that you're going to take when you go sit for chemo for 4 to 5 hours a day? We have hundreds and thousands of people every day going to get chemo for 4 to 5 hours a day for multiple treatments for weeks. And you know what they're taking? Like this young gal said, she goes, well, I was just going to bring my bag of M&Ms to treatment with me because that's just usually what I snack on. Okay. Well, let's talk about sugar. Sugar feeds cancer, right? Why can't we maybe have something more healthier that's going to actually help support the body and not to sabotage even the chemo that they're getting, right? So these are things that we want to support people with and understanding. And it's a big, large conversation. But is it possible? It's all possible.
Wow. And I want to make it clear for listeners, because we've been on the show before, and after the show, I get these messages, and it says, it sounds like GraithCare is completely against the medical system. And I said, I don't believe it's that way. I believe that you need to question everything they do, because not everything they say is in your better interest. Am I right there?
100%. Absolutely. Look, I was a pediatric intensive care nurse for years, working at the bedside in the peds ICU in a very intense environment. I believed in what we were doing. However, as I've uncovered throughout the years, there are more great things that I wish I would have known when I was in my original nursing. why the nursing schools didn't teach me about vitamin D levels, about deficiencies that we need to supplement properly. But what I've uncovered is, why can't we do it all? Why can't we do some traditional and alternatives altogether? The reason being is because we weren't taught like that. Nurses weren't taught like that, and doctors weren't taught like that. Now, I will also tell you, there are some naturopathies out there that will debunk everything in the traditional system. They will flat out go, no, never do a drug, never do any pharmaceuticals. And I just don't inherently believe in that, because I know in the pediatric intensive care unit, we saved lives with traditional means of care. So see, I'm not opposed to it. I just look at this very logically now, going, how can we be the parallel system of patient advocacy that people need worldwide? And we're doing it every single day for thousands of people. And it gives people hope and a partner along this journey, so they're not lost and confused. So they understand the logical next steps and options that they have. They don't have to be scared. And if they want us to be on the phone or in a doctor's office visit with them, we do that. And we are not adversarial. We want to partner with these people. See, the oncologists weren't taught some of these things. I question why they weren't taught.
Right.
But that's okay. I want to love people where they're at. I appreciate people where they're at, because I don't know, I just feel like more love in this world is a whole lot better than being adversarial. Now, I'm very strong-minded, and very opinionated, because I believe in what I believe, but that's exactly why we have different advocates for different type of needs. So when people go to our GraithCare.com website, they're going to see different types of advocates that they're going to better match with. So that's why I compare it to something like Match.com, like a dating system, right? We want to give you the best date in healthcare to help support you along your journey.
Wow. Well, that's what I reached out to this person with, and I said that to them. And, they have that bit of skepticism. And I said, it's okay to be skeptical, but it's also okay to ask questions.
Absolutely. And they should sit and write down those questions. Some people will call us and they'll go, look, this is my current diagnosis that I have. Here's what's going on with me. What's your best advice that you can give us? Maybe they just need an hour of time. And so we go through and we write out questions that we would want them to know, right? So that helps that person then go on their journey. Maybe that's all they need. And that's exactly what we do for them. See, we're not about mandates. We're not about gimmicks. We're about true patient advocacy. We want to meet you where you're at, because it is scary. The big healthcare system is very complex. It's very controlling. It's very one-sided. Whether you're on the natural end or the traditional end, and you're just in that phase of like, ooh, I don't know. I just kind of woke up to like, are vaccines all bad? Like, what do I even do with this? Because my doctor still wants to give me my yearly flu. My doctor still is telling me that my kids have to have vaccines before they go to school. But I'm kind of like questioning, do they need all of these, or do we just do some of them?
Right,
yeah,
right.
We have an advocate for you. We have an advocate that can help you unravel that question and properly support you with the research and information that you can be educated on, right? You're not alone in this. And some people do great researching it on their own. I say go do it. But at that point where you're like, oh, I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't want my doctor to be mad at me for questioning that. Well, I'll tell you, in the States, there are bonuses for when parents, this happened to me. I went to a great pediatrician, loved how they did care. But when I had my come to Jesus moment going, whoa, I don't think I want any more vaccines for my kids. See, I had my own awakening because I believed what my nursing school taught me about the pediatric schedule. And I did it. My kids go to public school, and I did it because, it's that time of year. I got to start planning. Parents right now are coming to the end of the school year, and they're going, okay, I've got to make sure they have their wellness visit this summer. Okay, for next year, they're going to need this vaccine, this vaccine. I don't know if I really want to do that. What do I do? Well, you can get a state exemption for vaccine choice. It's your choice to say no. You don't have to do that. We have advocates that can help you with that. We can also have that conversation with a pediatric doctor to help properly support and bridge that gap. However, in my situation, when I told the doctor we were no longer doing any vaccinations, doctor said, well, then you can't be here in this office.
Wow.
You can't come to my practice. I won't care for you or your kids, because all of the kids that come to my office have to stay on the pediatric schedule. Well, because I know the system, I wasn't shocked, and I said, okay, thank you, doctor, and I left. I didn't argue. I didn't fight it out. I wasn't going to waste my time. I found a provider that does support vaccine choice, and we can do that. There is proper support that families can have. I wasn't going to waste my time.
No matter what city you're in, no matter what state, what part of the world, you can do this.
Everywhere, even the state of California. There is a way to do this. People just oftentimes go, ooh, that sounds like a lot. Like, I don't know if I can put the time and effort into that. Relax, get an advocate. Let's see if we can put a plan together for you. Let's get a school exemption. Let's do that. People can do that. There's a CARES Act out in California. People go, oh, California. But relax. Go look at Melissa Goldbeck on our website. She is our school advocate. She knows how to navigate the system, because not only does she have a nurse background, but she has worked in some of the largest school systems in the state of California that have the most strict guidelines. Okay? So we don't fear this. We help people understand their options and how to handle this. And it's exciting to give people that freedom of choice and not to be feared or bullied. Because again, the pediatric doctor's office, the doctor that told me, no, I will no longer take care of you or your kids in this office, you're going to have to sign this paper and commit to the pediatric schedule. I know that he's getting paid a large insurance bonus for the percentage of kids that get and stay on the pediatric schedule.
Wow.
That's what it is. In some areas, it's like $40,000 per head, per kid that stay on those schedules. That's a lot of money in a pediatric office. That the financials for that office to stay viable with all the overhead that office is consumed with, people have to go, well, why? It's because that's how the office stays afloat, because their overhead costs are very, very expensive to run that office. That's why a lot of these providers are actually leaving the insurance paid system and going to what's called DPC models, direct primary care. And they are no longer dealing with anything in the insurance paid industry for their people that come to their office. Now, that limits them to the pool of people that come see them, because people want to use their insurance for doctor's office visits. But it's a choice. And it's a choice that these doctors are willing to also go, you know what? I'm tired of the big insurance companies mandating me, telling me what I should be able to do for my patients, just like the whole ivermectin and hydrochloroquine. I mean, some of these great doctors, they were getting hammered for writing those orders. Look up Dr. Paul Thomas. He out there is a pediatric office. His office, he left that understanding of the insurance side because he looked at the financials to say, this doesn't make sense. What's going on? We're getting paid this much money for, this is why we are doing insurance-driven protocol for vaccinations. But for him, he supported the family that wanted vaccine choice. So all these families started coming to him for pediatrician care, but his office was getting hammered because they were losing money because he didn't care whether a mom or dad wanted to do the vaccines or not. He
Sure.
left that up for that family to decide what they wanted to do. He supported either.
Well,
and that's the same with me.
Sure.
I support either.
Let's paint a picture here. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I have questions, and this is why we're here, is to say, okay, if I'm just a normal Joe asking questions, so paint the picture of how does a doctor collect to be on the model that the insurance company wants to do that. So, okay, client comes in, patient comes in, you're on this deal, client sees a copay of $15, $20, it gets billed to their insurance. Where does the rest of the money come from, and how does the doctor get that?
Yeah, so the first thing that patients do when they go to an office is they'll go, can you give me your insurance card? Okay, so sometimes they're under like a Blue Cross, a Cigna, an Aetna, United Healthcare. These are all the big BUCA plans out there. And what happens is you're paying a monthly premium, and most people money comes out every single month out of your paycheck from an employer plan. So your employer is offering you an insurance plan through their insurance plan. Let's say you work for a large corporation, they might have a PPO plan, an HMO plan. They all have different types of amounts you're going to pay for co-plan or deductible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you go into the office, the first thing the front desk lady goes, do you have insurance? Can I see your card? This is how they know how much your copay is. Okay, now when I go to the doctor, any doctor I want, they'll go, can you give me your insurance card? No, I don't have one. I don't pay into the system. I do not. And everybody out there knows you have the option to also be cash pay, self-pay.
Okay.
I do that, okay? So not everybody is paying for insurance. And I know a lot of people these days are now going, well, insurance doesn't even pay for all the alternative care that I want. So why am I paying $1,000 a month for nothing that they cover? Because remember, insurance is only going to cover what the doctor orders that is related to a ICD-10 code. This is a diagnosis code. Okay, so let's say you get bit by a dog. Okay, you go in, the doctor says, okay, problemless, bit by a dog in the hand. Okay, they need X treatment for that dog bite. Okay, that's how insurance then says, okay, there's the claim related to the diagnosis. We're going to pay X for this out. Okay, that's how it works. We, the insurance company, are paying X based off of the type of insurance that person paid, and that's how it's paid. So those costs can go back to that doctor's office covering for some of their care. But a lot of the reason why doctors are leaving the insurance industry is because, people get denied claims all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We have insurance advocates on our team.
Wow.
So they'll look. If somebody's struggling and being denied for something that should be covered underneath their Medicare plan or their commercial insurance plan, well, we have Sue and Kate on our team that handle those, because you have to understand, how do you get it covered? If that's how you want to roll, let's get it covered. Let's make sure insurance pays for it. I say game on. If you're paying $1,000 a month, you better get it covered, or you better know up front what it's going to cost, because some of these people are getting bills and they didn't even know the cost up front. They didn't even know that the CAT scan they were going to do, that they were going to get done, they got done, and insurance is denying them to cover that plan. Well, guess what? I'm going to tell you, a CAT scan, cash price might be a lot cheaper than being denied under your insurance plan, and you are stuck with that medical bill. And they will put you to claims. They'll say, oh, they're not paying. And that's where people struggle. They'll go to buy a house. One of the largest things that when they go to purchase a house and they can't purchase because of their credit, it's because of their medical debt.
Wow.
They're credit scoring. So if you have unpaid debt through the system, through the large healthcare system, you'll even get denied even purchasing a home because it killed your credit.
Okay, I got a couple for instances. It's 33 minutes into the first segment here. I got to take a break. And when we come back, I'm going to throw a couple for instances at you of some people I actually know who are going through this. Can we do a Q&A on that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. For Hutcast, stand by. We'll be right back.
The current healthcare system is not meeting the needs of real people. People are demanding better care, better options, and want results. So GraithCare has launched and is advocating for those in the U.S. and internationally, as people are realizing the controlled system has not been there for them. If you want your own independent advocate that is not controlled by big corporations, call or text and enroll today to get your advocate for your needs, serving all ages. For any healthcare needs you might have, you matter. Here's how you get started. www.GraithCare.com. That is GraithCare.com. Call GraithCare direct at 469-864-7149. Call or text the questions to Healthcare Sucks and get an advocate with GraithCare. 469-864-7149. Mention Hutcast and you will get an additional 10% discount on your first advocacy bundle. The staff at GraithCare will take care of you. Remember, mention Hutcast and get that extra 10% off your first bundle of time. And this is all brought to you from GraithCare.
Welcome back to Hutcast. Today, Priscilla Romans is on the phone, and she has graced us with her presence and her knowledge for her patient advocacy company. Now, at the break, I says we're going to do some Q&A. We're going to have a for instance, and here it is. Are you still with me?
I am still with you.
Okay, here we go now. A friend of mine, was diagnosed with some pretty crazy stuff. 4 types of cancer. I mean, he's had numerous amounts of pieces taken from him. One in which is his stomach. They removed his colon. They took out, I think, some of his liver. They took some of his spleen. And the doctors seemed to think that the best course of action was to constantly cut this guy apart. Well, now he's on a feeding tube. He's having a hard time with that. Now, this guy is 6'4", almost 300 pounds. He's a big guy. Mm-hmm. And now he's 6'4", and he looks like he's got 90 pounds of weight on him, which is really sad because I've been with this guy my whole life. Very, very, very good company, very good people. And I've tried to steer them to your direction before this all happened. And they just decided to continue with the model which you spoke of in our first segment. Now, I don't know how I could have led the horse to water any easier. They in their mind they paid for insurance. In their head it's like, hey, look, I'm not going to spend any more. I think it was more so financial than it was medical, that they could have just reached out to somebody.
Yeah.
What would you tell these people? And I have another one here, but let's do this one first. What would you tell them the first thing you would say to say, look, before you cut this guy apart, what would you say?
Well, before you do any surgery, you've got to know that it's hard to fix a botched surgery, okay? So you really do need to be informed up front because not all surgeries are necessary, okay? And once you start cutting, they do this for cancer people all the time, where it's one surgery after another because it creates a whole nother set of issues, okay? So for this person in particular, knowing that they have a very complex situation going on, my first concern that pops up in my mind going, did the doctor ever talk about something called CTC? That's C as in cat, T as in Tom, C as in cat. What that stands for is circulating tumor cells. And I know this across the board Many, many doctors never even mention this term. People can go look this up, okay? And the circulating tumor cells, they have detached from the primary tumor or from the primary site, and it's entered the bloodstream or the lymphatic system. So you've got what's circulating, just how CTC sounds, it's within your whole body, right? And you've got to shut that down. If you don't shut that down, it's continually, happening in your body. You're not winning at that point. You need to win. And doctors will not even talk about options that are being looked at and have been used, because we talk to people that have had extreme cancer. There's a great, on our website, on our podcast, we have a small baby podcast. I just share different options for people. And you should actually interview her too. Her name is Diana Wright. And I found her because she killed her cancer that was circulating within her system, but her cancer had metastasized, meaning it started as a primary site of ovarian cancer, and she had cancer in her tumors in her lungs, her brain, her abdomen, her rectum. She had it everywhere. Okay, this was back in 2012 when she got diagnosed. The MD Anderson doctor told her, "Well, Diana, you've got weeks to live." She's like, "Oh, nuh-uh." So the first question I would ask anybody, what is your sense of urgency to live, right? Because if you don't have a sense of urgency to live, well, then just continue doing what you're doing. But when you have something like cancer, in all honesty, you've got to fight. You've got to fight. Because if you don't, it's going to win unless you are defending your body and you're addressing the root cause of why the cancer started to begin with. Okay? So she had surgery. Diana had surgery. Okay? She had a lot taken out. Her women parts were taken out because cancer had invaded, right? That was the decision that she made. She's glad she made it. She had to stop it. But then she also had to shut down circulating tumor cells. And there's something that you can do in order to take it now. In the traditional sense, just like people will go look up ivermectin, or they'll look up a Fenben's protocol. They'll go, oh, the Cho Tibbins, did this for his lung cancer. And there's a lot of these great options, but people don't know. This gentleman that's dealing with this doesn't even know where to start. He's like, whoa, this is overwhelming. Cancer alone and having those surgeries are so overwhelming. They oftentimes feel like hopeless.
Yeah.
They don't know where to unravel, and they're beating themselves up going, maybe I shouldn't have done all these surgeries. Well, guess what? Here at GraithCare, it's just fine. Whatever decisions you've already made, it's okay. I believe there's hope, and I believe there's miracles. I think there's some tougher journeys that are out there that have complex cancers like this gentleman having multiple surgeries. But I would simply go to him, what is your current vitamin D level? Do you know how important the vitamin D level that your body is at currently is so important to your survival? We know this because we have documentation to help people understand why it's important to know what your current vitamin D level is. That's a blood draw. You can go ask your traditional doctor. And I would challenge anybody, if your doctor is not looking at that, why?
Right.
Why? So very, very simple, basic. And we would just want to make sure those fundamentals, the basic foundations, he knows, right? And if he doesn't want to do all of it, that's fine too. But I would challenge anybody. If you've got cancer and you have a sense of urgency to live because you've got kids, grandkids, a wife, if you've got something to live for, then let's do it. Today's your day.
It originally started with colon cancer. He had one of these prep tests done where you do it at home and send it in, and it monitored it at 0 issues. Then he went. Then he went in for an actual colonoscopy, and he says, "Oh no, that didn't work." Well, it all started from there. Then once they started cutting him apart, and I would imagine this is what our friends think. It's like, if they did all this, why didn't they see the other cancers at that time?
It happens all the time. I'm gonna ask. I would go back and question: did they even do a PET scan that is a non-invasive test first to see what lit up on that full body PET scan? And I almost guarantee you the answer that will come back, because we see this and do this every single day. I'm going to almost guarantee they never did a PET scan to begin with. Because remember, we go back to our original situation. Cancer is a changing of the cells. If you go in, slice and dice and do procedures like biopsies, you have the potential to change the cells. And once you change the cells, there's an opportunity for needle tracking and to spread to the lymphatic system.
I found it awful funny that, again, no one said nothing about the stomach issue then, or about the spleen issue or the liver issue. I mean, and I'm being very vague because I was not part of the what they took out. But their answer every time was removal. And you're like, hold on.
Yeah.
And I implored them to reach out to you. And I said, look, you should at least talk to these people. I think it's money well spent. And they decided to do what they did. And I respect that. Absolutely.
Absolutely. We are not a fit for everybody. And that's cool. We are here for when people want to get help, want to know all their information. But see, we don't live in a space of fear through this medical freedom movement. We don't. We want to provide that hope and love, because it's scary getting a cancer diagnosis. It is so scary. And we should not be making decisions based off of emotions, right? And that's why these people do need a patient advocate who cares and who can give them a second set of eyes. Or I say, hey, we've got your blind spot here. These are things that we know that we know they're not going to tell you, right? So it's so important to making sure he's properly supported, and we love him for whatever he's decided in his life. I don't want anybody to die. I know we're all eventually going to die, but shoot, while I'm here, I want to live, and I want to live well. I don't want to be sick and connected to this big bloated healthcare system that wants to keep me sick and dependent. I want to live a life of freedom. And what else do we have if we don't have our health?
Right. Well, if you didn't know, I had Christine. She said, we're going to send me out some W-9s. And I says, hold on here before we do all that no matter who I interview, if I'm with you and there's a HUTcast promo that we can use to have your advocates use as a discount code, HUTcast, that you're going to use them for whatever you guys want to in your, I don't know, give it away to someone who needs it. I want you to make sure you all know that. We've played quarterback. Now let's play defense. And I have another client, a client of mine who is in the car business. He is got a mother. And it's not just, it's the brother, and the brother told me the story. And I says, hold on here. You need to start at the beginning. Well, Ma had a hip. She had it replaced. It becomes sepsis. The bolt comes through and wore through the bone, which worked into a muscle. I mean, all kinds of complications to this surgery. I mean, more than just you would ever hear. She's in her late 80s, early 90s, I think, if I remember right. And it's kind of a tough situation. They're on track now, but they had to raise the roof and raise holy heck. But they're looking at how do you put it? Someone's responsible for these decisions. Mm-hmm. And if they need someone to back them in a spot where, hey, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, does that something GraithCare provides? Because now you're talking litigant. And I don't know if that's kind of a thing you guys do.
We do. We have a great advocate that does case reviews. And what that means is we help the client make sure they do have all of their medical records and even images, and which are very, very valuable. And we collect that information, we put it together, and we review it. We have one case right now our advocate is working on that has over 30,000 pages of medical records to come through.
Wow.
The family believes that the hospital provided care that wasn't necessary, that killed their loved one. And it was a very, very difficult situation. You can't litigate bad, crappy care. You have to look for merit in these cases that would stick, in our opinion. And you also have the issue of things like the PrEP Act. So we have closely aligned ourselves with attorneys that can take cases when we find areas that can be moved forward. We not only have summarized these and created a dossier and teed these up to attorneys groups that take them, but they are currently moving through the litigation process because of the work that we have done. They came to us first. We put together the summary and found all the information, highlighted. This looks like something that could be medical malpractice. In our opinion, we are not attorneys, okay? I want to make sure your listeners know that we are not attorneys. We are not doctors. We are a team of patient advocates that have I need to probably go through the years of experience, but we probably have well over 250 plus years or more of experience as a full team. And so you're getting somebody that's very experienced, knows how to go through case reviews, knows how to really investigate the case to go, this looks like an area of concern where there was something called a sentinel event that happened in the hospital or in this, a sentinel event, people can go look up. It's a JACO accreditation that these large institutions, healthcare centers, they get what's called magnet status, which is, it's a money thing. But if there's a sentinel event that isn't properly addressed and they try to cover it up, which happens, well, they can actually, it can also cause a whole lot of issues because they covered up something or they didn't do something that put the patient in danger, created injury and harm, or even death. And we have cases that we've teed up to attorneys, and we are excited that we are part of this mission to partner with our clients to go, you know what, if you need that, we can do that for you. And that's why we have a particular advocate match for those type of needs.
Wow. It just, there's so much there, isn't there? And,
yeah.
And to think we had to fight this hard for someone who's trying to help us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's incredible. There's issues where the doctor has literally written in their documentation, in the electronic medical record, that there was X thing to look out for. For example, watch out for a perforated bowel, okay? The bowel, you know, making sure that the bowel is running smoothly, person had some bowel issues, and it looked like potentially there was maybe some bowel issues that they really needed to monitor, okay? Patient was hence in hours, meaning like 36 plus hours of pain. The hospital staff and nurses kept saying, no, you're just really anxious. Let's give you some medication for anxiety. You're just anxious. There's nothing going on. Then the next thing you know, well, they actually perfed their bowel. Perforation, okay? That is not a good situation in the bowels, okay? This person got infected, had weeks and weeks and weeks, which turned into months of sickness that the hospital could never get ahead of to take care of this gentleman. Never. Because they didn't pay attention to why he was in pain in the first place. That is a big issue. A big issue. This wife no longer has a husband. That was the provider of the family. Okay? Lost everything. Lost her husband, lost her best friend. Why? The hospital did not do their due diligence, per the standard of care that they should have done. They ignored him, and it was documented. Documentation means everything to these attorneys. See, we don't go off of subjective. We don't go off of, oh, I didn't like that doctor. He didn't talk to me very nice. Yeah, that's just bad, crappy care. We see that all the time. What do we have that is fact that we need to hold these hospitals accountable for? Because they are institutions that we rely on every single day to help us in those acute care needs. We need good hospitals. We need these hospitals to be doing exactly what they should be doing, because there's a time and a place to use them. But if you don't know how to use them in the beginning, shoot, I'm going to just tell your audience, you could be mightily screwed if you don't understand what you're doing. That's exactly why you need to know GraithCare.
Or someone like you.
Yeah, absolutely. If you know somebody that's like it, game on. Do it. You need it. You need a great patient advocate.
Yeah, and I become more and more of a fan of that as I listen to you guys and we interview and I listen to other people talk, and it makes sense. I mean, I don't go to the mechanic and say, hey, what should I do for my brain aneurysm, and vice versa. You don't go to the brain aneurysm guy and say, what should I do for my ignition system? It's just something that don't happen. So we have to realize our own limitations before we go out and say, well, I think I know what's best, and I think my doctor knows what's best. And it's not saying he doesn't. It just means that you need a second opinion and not from the same system.
Yes, that's exactly right. You hit it. you exactly have got this. You understand with that. It's a second set of eyes. And do you have somebody that's covering your blind side? What's the blind parts of what you need to know in order to make a truly informed decision?
Whole lot going on here, isn't there?
Yes.
And you don't want to take the human out of medical care, but sometimes you just got to pump those brakes and say, am I getting what I need here? And that's what you guys are for.
That's right. Well, we love people. We love the mission. My team of advocates are the best of the best. I even have advocates for my own family because they don't listen to me. They would rather just talk to an advocate on my team. That tells you family dynamics right there. But it's awesome to see miracles happening. People getting off of the pharmaceutical drugs and living a life full of freedom. I mean, didn't we get all taught growing up, don't do drugs?
Yeah, I think there's a little blurry line there, though. There's for recreation versus whatever. I mean, and in Minnesota, they just opened up the pot law this year.
Yeah.
And we're an FFL. So when you talk to these people and they say, are you under municipality of a doctor's orders to have these? Are you addicted to it? And they have to answer on a federal form whether they're lying or not. I mean, it's not my felony, it's theirs. So if you got a pot card and you answer no to that question, that no, I'm not addicted to it, I take it occasionally, I don't even know where to begin to say that. So when the feds start digging into that one, we'll see how that goes in life. But yeah, medical's a way different gig. And if you're in pain, glaucoma, whatever it is, and you got a pot card, well, then you can't buy guns.
Wow. Yeah, that's tough. The federal government should not be in the way of your medical freedom. It is not a good. That's just in my belief system. We should not be having government control, mandate, or coerce people for what they should be doing for their medical freedom at all. Period. Bad, slippery slope. That is a very socialized model, and if you do that, please remember, once they start dictating, which they have very cleverly in a lot of ways, and they also have the control of the electronic medical record, the EMR system, they can start mandating a lot of things. How much sugar, how many sodas. Oh, you haven't gotten vaccinations. What could they do with that, right? And if you didn't get vaccinations, what could they shut off, right? There's a lot of control factors. So you do not want the federal government or any government institution in the way of your medical freedom.
Let's plug the company one more time. Could you do that for us?
So what now?
Let's say the company name, how to get a hold of you, all that. Just go ahead and plug it.
Yeah, GraithCare. Just go to our website, GraithCare, .com. That's GRAITH care.com. When you go there, check out our team of advocates. All you're doing is purchasing advocacy time. Okay, so we have different bundles, 1 hour, 2 hours. I would encourage everybody just to start with an hour. Talk to an advocate about what's going on with you and what game plan we would advise for you to know. And you can use that time as you need it. The time never expires. We have people that purchased an hour last year that still have some time remaining. How awesome is that it doesn't expire? We're here for you along your journey. I would definitely encourage the listeners to make sure you use HutCast to get a 10% discount. We are excited that HutCast supports GraithCare, and we want to support you all with a 10% discount, getting up and started with an advocate. We are worldwide. So we've helped somebody in all 50 states and in 15 different countries up to this day. We have thousands of clients that are getting their advocacy support from a team of advocates that love them. So I would just challenge everybody, try us out, try an hour, call our intake team. Our number is on our website. There's a contact us page. You can just write in what you need. And the intake team, you'll actually get a real human responding to you, not a robot or a bot. We actually want to respond to you with some human love and kindness, and we want to meet you where you're at. So whether you're needing traditional support or want some alternative natural options, our team can go help you with those next steps.
And don't forget, use the promo code HUTCAST, which at that point, GraithCare will decide where they want to put that. This is not given back to me. This is going back into the show and a charity of their choosing. So, HUTCAST, promo code HUTTCAST, and we are 25 minutes and 15 seconds into the second event. Do you have anything else you want to go before we part?
Well, I feel like people go, this is just another business. What I want your listeners to know is that my heart in starting GraithCare in March of 2020, it was definitely God-directed. And one of the things that always challenged me that I grew up in the Midwest. My dad's a minister. My mom was a nurse. And people can look at my my story on the About page on our website. I would encourage people to get to know why I did what I did and who my grandparents were and are. My grandmother was a lieutenant nurse in the Army, and my grandfather fought in the Battle of the Bulge, and she took care of him. And I believe that fighting for people's freedom is a part of my just how I grew up. And my parents just, I don't know, they really helped me uncover, my nursing journey in a way to going, there can be a lot more we can do for people. And God just opened up this opportunity. And what's so great about GraithCare is even people who call that are in financial hardship, we have what's called Grateful Giving. It's a nonprofit that I also run. And if they are in financial hardship, they fill out a form that says, hey, this is my situation. I do need an advocate. We provide advocacy to hundreds and hundreds of people that are in financial hardships today, meaning our seniors, our veterans, our single moms and dads out there that are struggling to put food on their table. We provide them donated patient advocacy time. So see, I want to take care of my advocates and pay them for the work they're doing, whether it's somebody who can pay for our services or somebody that can't through our donations. I not only want to serve and help my team of advocates make sure they can take care of their families, but I want to take care of anybody that comes to us in need and match them with a patient advocate. So that's very near and dear because I think there's a lot of business owners and that are doing great things out there. I wanted to be different. I wanted to go, you know what, if somebody does come to us and they really are scraping, some of these seniors are barely getting by with the amount of Social Security, and they have no extra funds to do the things that they need to do, and they are so sick, and they have to keep going to the hospital for needs, and they're lost and frustrated and their doctor's not listening to them. We want to be that arm for them. We want to be that second set of eyes and help these people because they matter. Humanity matters. And do I think that there will be another pandemic eventually? Yeah, because it was super profitable for these people that are reliant on the big bloated healthcare system. And I just truly believe that everybody inherently needs an advocate to be able to call or text.
Well, everybody, you heard them, GraithCare. Look them up on the web, check out their advocacy programs, and I'll tell you what, it's a pretty sharp group. Priscilla, thank you very much for stopping in today and giving us your time. And we'll send this episode drops at about 5 o'clock Central Time. And I think that's kind of about it for now. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a beautiful day, and I appreciate you having me on.
We thank you for having you on again. It was an eye-opener every time. Okay, Hudcast signing off. Remember, everybody, the goal is to be well. Let's be well.
And that's a wrap for Hutcast. Hutcast is, again, a pragmatic approach to seeing things how some people see them. If you like our show, give us a thumbs up on the Facebook site. Again, for Hutcast, thank you again. Have a wonderful evening.